We are going to learn how to make an animated GIF for like a small little movie with our still photographs. This is sort of fun. You could do something with your surrealist collage. You could do something where you just sort of stick some multiple pictures together here and they work as an active animation. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a couple pictures. I'm going to use this one and this one. You can see that the image, the figures change, but the background stays the same, right? So I'm just going to see those guys sort of pop in and out like that. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need two windows open. I'm going to need, under my window menu, I'm going to need animation. So if I click on animation here, see that disappears, I bring it back. It shows a little bar down here at the bottom. Then also I want my layers menu available here for me as well. All right, let's stack those pictures. So I'm going to select the first one. I'm going to say select all or Command A, Control A. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it on top of this one. So here I see I have two layers. I have my background layer and I have layer one showing. All right, so there's my animation almost perfectly just like that. Now, how do I get it to move? How do I get the computer to animate it? All right, the first thing I like to do in this situation is I'm going to double click on my background. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to turn my background into a layer so it's a little bit more flexible. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look down here at my animation frames down here at the bottom. Make sure there's a little button on the right here. You might see this window. You want to click this button on the right and just make sure that it's a single picture. The other one is a little bit more complex. This is just a really easy, straightforward way to do this. Now the default here is 10 seconds on this. I'm going to change this to 1 second for now. That's just the duration of this particular frame, and that'll make more sense as we kind of get into this a little bit. All right, so there's my first frame. You'll notice here when I click the eyeball, keep your eyes on this little guy down here, right? It's also a preview what's happening in the main window. All that's showing me is that's my window, right? This is my animation here. So this is what's in the window, that's what's in the window. So let's start with layer one. Let's start standing like this. So here's layer one, right? So layer zero. So I turn off layer one, and layer zero is showing here. I'm going to just simply click this button. There we go, and I made a new animation frame here. And for this animation, I want this one to show. So see how this one froze and it stayed the way it was? This one changed to layer one showing here. So if I go back one to this one, and I go forward to this one, there we go. It just played that second one. All right, so let's jump back one. There you go. Jump forward one, jump back one, jump forward. So that's my animation so far. So if I want this to flash back and forth a couple of times, I can add another layer to this. I just need to make sure that it's the right one. So that's the standing one. So I'm going to go back to standing here. So I'm going to turn this one off. I'm going to add another one here. I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to add another one here. I'm going to turn this one off. All right. And I'm going to make this a loop. So if these are all 1 second in duration, I'm going to make this one 0.5 seconds, and I'm going to make this one 0.5 seconds. So that way when it plays, here's my once, here's forever, right? When it plays, there we go. See, it jumps from this 0.5 to 0.5 seconds, so it seemed like it's the right time. Because if you leave it 1 second all the way across, there's going to be a 2-second lag at the end. See, I matched up those two pictures at the end. So there's my animation right there. Super easy, right? That's like the most basic animation you can do. Now, another one you could try is let's make this 1 second again. Let's trash this one. There's a little trash can here, yes. Trash can, yes. Oops. Trash can, yes. All right, another way I can do this is here's my first and here's my second, is if I hold down the shift key and I select both of these two cells here, I can click this button, which makes transitional frames in between. Now, it's not absolutely perfect, but you can do your position, your opacity, the effects. All layers are selected layers. We're going to say all layers is fine for now. It says add frame one. So here we go. I'm going to say select. So now this is a transitional frame in there. And depending on how many frames you have in between here, it'll make like a sort of melty frame in there. I kind of like the hopping frame better, but this is, again, a transitional frame like that. And you can sort of mess with those a little bit. Now, you can add more things to this too. So let's say, you can almost think about this like a real movie. So we go here when they're all together. I'm going to add another frame here, and I'm going to make the duration of this frame 5 seconds. And on this frame, I'm going to put some text in here. So I'm going to say, here's my text. Click on the T, and I'm going to say hello, which is really tiny here on 24 point font here. So I'm going to say 72. And this is still really small because the resolution of this picture is way, way big. So maybe let's get rid of that first here. Hold on. Let's start that over. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my cropping tool. I'm going to clear all the settings from my cropping tool, and I'm going to just crop this to whatever size, whatever I think the picture is here that I want to take a look at. I'm going to hit the check mark, like so. Now the problem is I didn't really resize it all. I just sort of cropped off the other side, but it's still really big, like 0 to 35. It's like 36 inches longer. So I'm going to go to Image. I'm going to go to Image Size. Now, I'm not going to pay attention so much to this. I want to make sure the resolution is at 72. So make that 72 if it's not already. But then what I want to do is up here in the pixels per inch, I'm going to make the greatest pixel width here. So this is 3000, this is 2600. I'm going to make this one 480 for now. Smaller the better, but you can see that it's making this much, much smaller. I'm going to say OK. All right, so now it looks tiny. We can zoom in a little bit. All right, it's going to be a smaller picture. Because again, you know, this is not like making a full-length movie. This is just making a little clip that's going to appear as a small file in like a website or in your Tumblr feed, different things like that. So here I'm going to, again, check there's my animation transitions. And then here, I want to have some text in here. So now let's put the text in here. And you're going to see it's only 5.5 inches by like 6.5 inches here. So let's click on the T. And let's say H-E-L-L. Hello, it says. All right, use moving tool. I can move this over here. I'm going to put it right here. I can't see it, so I'm going to use the text tool. I'm going to double click on here and select everything. I'm going to change the color of my text to white. And I'm also going to double click on my text layer here, and I'm going to add a drop shadow. All right, there's a little bit of bonus here for you. All right, then I'm going to add one more frame. And I don't want hello in there, so I'm going to turn hello off. And I'm going to make it go back to here. And I'm going to make this 0.5 seconds. I'm going to make this 0.5 seconds. Oh, there's my hello here. I want to turn that off for this one. I just want it on for that one. All right, so again, I had all my frames selected here from the previous one. I just want to make sure I select the last one. Oops, but I selected the wrong one. Hold on. This is the one I wanted hello on. There we go. So again, just by previewing here, whatever is turned on in the layers menu is what's going to show in that particular window. So here I'm going to go back, and I'm going to transition between these two frames here. Actually, I'm going to make this 3 seconds if I can. I make it 2 seconds. All right, I'm going to transition between these two layers here. All layers, opacity, position effects. Okay. There we go. So now that hello is going to fade out from here to here as well. All right, so let's take a look at our animation here. Forever it says. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to hit play. Here we go. We come together. It says hello. Then the hello fades out, and then it starts over at the beginning again, and it goes in a loop. All right, and there's my animation. Simple as that. Pretty cool, right? So I'm going to hit stop, and then just to get rid of this thing or to export it so I can use it is I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go Save for Web and Devices. Here it is. GIF, you have a list of things you can save it as, but I'm going to save it as a GIF here. An animated GIF is what I want. Color table is fine. It's going to break it down into much smaller colors. I'm going to say Save. If you want, you can click this preview button. You can preview it in your browser, but I'm just going to hit Save. Okay, I'm going to call it, I'm just going to call mine Department GIF. I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to say Save. And that's all there is to it. Hang on, it's just something my clipboard's too big. So here's my GIF right here, and if I double click on that guy, it's going to open up in preview. These are it shows me some different images here, or I can open it up in a browser like Safari. There we go, and that's what it's going to look like when you upload it to your Tumblr link. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.